Do you have trouble inspiring, persuading, or motivating your audience? Do you want to keep them engaged and have them hanging on your every word? Hi, I'm Jason Tiedick with Rule the Room, and I'm going to show you how to make these things second nature with my presentation bootcamp. First, I want to thank you for signing up for our newsletter. In addition to receiving our monthly newsletter filled with tips and tricks to help you rule the room, you'll also receive exclusive offers and discounts on our courses. And if you keep watching, you're about to get an exclusive taste of one of our most sought-after presentation training programs. My Presentation Bootcamp program dives deeply into the delivery of successful presentations. You'll learn how to influence, persuade, and motivate your audience to take the action you intended through hands-on practice and personalized training. This 5-hour program is packed with practical tips and tricks you can start using tomorrow. Over the next 20-minute crash course, you'll get a small taste of what you can expect. Make sure to stay until the end of this video for an exclusive discount on the entire Presentation Bootcamp course. Thanks, and enjoy the crash course. I'm going to read these out loud to you because these are real openers from real people. Some of these are claimed to be the most impressive communication experts in the world. This is how they opened their presentation. Listen to this. Can everybody hear me? First thing they said. I'll talk for about 45 minutes or so. This is the first thing that came out of these people's mouth. You should know that one of these statements up here is from a New York Times bestseller on how to deliver presentations. And this is how he starts. I know you're all very busy. I'm very glad to be here. Now that doesn't sound so bad, but it doesn't give adults what they want, which is they will all tune to one radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? What was the first thing I said to you after, hi, I'm Jason Tiedick? I'm going to show you how to deliver an amazing presentation. It's the first thing I said to you. What else are these people saying? All right, I just want to start with a little story. Hey, so first and foremost, I really want to thank everybody. Probably the first thing I should tell you is you guys are awesome. By the way, that's praise, and it only works if the people believe the praise is sincere. And do I know you yet? So how can I say, you guys are awesome. Especially if you'd have given me an applause. Oh, you guys are awesome for that applause. No, I don't know if you're awesome or not. We're going to find out. But I want to not value judge you. I want to tell you what you're going to get. So what do you do instead? I'm going to suggest there's 5 steps. There are 5 things to do every time you give an introduction. I'm going to suggest on page 15 that when you introduce yourself, here we go now, 5 steps to deliver a killer opener. Step 1, introduce yourself with your full name, inflections down on the last syllable. Here's an example. Hi, my name is Jason Tiedick. Close your mouth when you're finished. An open mouth doesn't look confident and credible. Hi, my name is Jason Tiedick. Hi, my name is Jason Tiedick. See the difference? Next one, your credentials. Here's my favorite credential statement. Let me tell you what mine was again. I was actually speaking to you, and today I'm talking about confidence and credibility, so I might say something like this. I help people overcome their fear of speaking and deliver amazing presentations. I was speaking with some financial advisors the other day, and I said to them, I help financial advisors work with their clients using their own communication style. I gave a TED Talk to thought leaders in May, and I said to them, I help thought leaders get their message across to people who may or may not want to hear it. What is in common between all those credentialed statements? Did I tell you how many years I've been doing this? I hired a guy to do my lawn this summer. He told me he'd been doing it for 20 years. He was terrible. I'll never bring him back. I really don't care how long you've been doing what you've been doing. What I care, what's the radio station I tune to? WIIFM. I care how what you do helps me. So here's the recipe. You ready? You know how some people have this problem? Well, I offer this solution. You're going to try this with me right now. You're going to write it, by the way, on page 16, so get ready. I'll give you mine. You know how some people have a fear of public speaking and have a hard time getting their message across? Well, I help people overcome their fear of public speaking and deliver a seamless message. Now, which part am I going to say when I stand up here? Am I going to say both parts or just the second half? Just the second half. Here it is. Ready? I'm going to put the 2 steps together. 2 steps, introduce yourself, give your credentials. Here it is. Hi, I'm Jason Tiedick, and I help people overcome their fear of public speaking and deliver a seamless message. Whoa, that's different than almost every opener you've ever heard, isn't it? It surely is different than, can everybody hear me? You guys are awesome. So I've been up here for a few times today, although I have not properly introduced myself. I don't care. Hi, my name is Jason Tiedick, and I help people overcome their fears of presenting and deliver a seamless message. Bam, you're in. Those who wanted to know how to hook your audience, that's how you do it. Those are the first 2 steps anyway. I'm going to start with the words that you use. And here's the first one. Page 38, you can write these in the box at the top. These are the top 10 fillers on the planet. You can write them in the box on the top of page 38. So, and, all right, okay. Like is the most common one in the millennial generation. Anyone under the age, anyone born in the 80s and 90s? Love the word like. Now, well, you know, right, and ah. I actually, as I said, when I take notes on people who present, I take notes on what they say. I literally transcribe what they say, and then I count their fillers. And I just had a recent client that I counted. This was an hour presentation that used 350 fillers in 1 hour, an average of 3.5. Well, if there were 100 minutes in an hour, it's even more than that. It's probably about 5 a minute. I'm going to suggest that up front your goal is 1 filler a minute. Eventually, try to get to 1 filler every 3 minutes. Whoa. Problem with this is I see guru after guru after guru try to teach people how to get rid of fillers. It doesn't work. They can't do it. And so I figured out a way to do this, and the only way we're going to be able to do this is to actually have you talk to me. So we're going to go around the room, and I'm going to give you each a chance to read something in this book, and then reread it the correct way. Ildiko and Ann are going to start for us. I'm actually going to model the very first one, and I'm going to start with, first of all, for each section of these, I'm going to start with what they are, how to get rid of them, then I'm going to have you guys read them together with me. We're going to start with the top most common fillers, and so, and, all right, okay, like, Bottom of 38, I'm going to teach you how to remove fillers at the beginning of sentences. Make a note, bottom of 38. You can write this in the margin, that the most common place for fillers is at the beginning of sentences. That's where most people say. So, the next thing I'm going to teach you is, all right, so the next thing we're going to learn is, okay, so does anybody hear all those? We don't even know we're doing them. Also, write this in the margin. There's a concept called the observing ego. The observing ego is the ability for you to float above yourself and watch and listen to yourself in real time speak. Right now, I'm actually listening to myself and monitoring the words I say as I'm saying them to you and making sure I don't use any fillers while I talk. And the number one way to do this is to use the power of the pause. Here's the rule of thumb. Replace every filler you say with a 1/2 second to 3 second pause. And in some cases, a comma or a period. Replace every filler you say with a pause and a period or a comma. Let me give you an example. Take a look on the bottom of 38 or look up here on this PowerPoint. Do you see the filler in that top one up there on the left? What's the filler in that top one? It's a very important point. And did you see the recent figures from yesterday? What's the filler? And. Why is and a filler here? Because those two things shouldn't be joined. One's a question, the other's a statement. What should I do to get rid of the and? What did I just say? Replace it with a pause. Here it goes. It's a very important point. Did you see the recent figures from yesterday? Most people don't want to pause because what are they afraid of? Silence and awkward. She said awkward silence. That's the number one fear. Anybody know what number two is? They're afraid people will stop what? Listen. They're not listening to you during all the talk. What are they doing during the pause? Just now when I just paused, I said, look, watch what I did. What are they doing during the pause? What did I do? I just what? I paused. What were you doing? Were you bored? What were you doing? You're thinking. But guess who was bored? Me. But it's not about me. It's about you. You're so bored during your pauses because you don't have anything to say. But they're not bored. They're thinking about what you just said. So let them think. This next one is the most important thing I'm going to teach you in this chapter today. Here it is. Remember, here's the theory. It's not whether you're nervous or fearful. It's whether you what? Show it. Page 54, halfway down. Highlight this. Eliminate your nervous habits. There is no other advice I can give you that is better than this for nerves and fear. Get rid of your nervous habits. Some will say that this, on video, is why Nixon lost the election to Kennedy. Some will say this because he had nervous habits on television. And by the way, you should know that a number of the reasons why Nixon looked nervous on television as opposed to over the radio were because, for example, he put some makeup on that they put on him and he didn't know that they were going to do this. They put on, and he ended up looking like he was sweating like crazy, even though he didn't have much anxiety, but that looked bad on camera. Now that's not a nervous habit, but the point is that if you look on the bottom of 54, it talks about the Nixon-Kennedy debate. Listen to this. At the time of the debate, Nixon wasn't looking his best. He had lost weight due to a knee injury. The pain from the injury combined with the heat in the studio from the television lights caused him to sweat heavily. Since he tended to produce a heavy 5 o'clock shadow, he used a product to cover up the stubble. This made his sweating more obvious. The light suit he wore caused him to blend in more to the background. In contrast, Kennedy, you can read all about this. But whether you're into debating for presidents or not, here are the top 12 nervous habits I've seen across all of the people I've worked with, thousands of people. I want you right now to put a star next to your top 3. I'm going to read them out loud. That's how important these are. Ready? And I'll model them as I do it. Shifting one's weight back and forth, or pacing. Is that you? As opposed to being able to stand still? You shift your weight a lot? This could be seated or standing. Next one. Crossing and uncrossing arms when seated, or legs when seated. Crossing and uncrossing them constantly. People call these fidgets. Number 3, pacing back and forth. A lot of people think this is really engaging when you do this. It's not. It makes you look nervous. If it's done in the first how many minutes? 5. Next one. Rubbing one's hands, arms, and so on. Playing with the hair, rubbing your arms, doing this kind of thing. My nervous habit, one of my main nervous habits, some of you might have even seen it because I do every once in a while, is I will play with this little thing. I pull it up some more, play with it. It just something that makes me feel better in front of an audience. I have to learn to stop that. And how do I do it? I use this. Helps you stop you with a lot of your crutches. Next one. Looking away from the audience, up, down, left, or right. I was working with an attorney client of mine, and I said to him, did you know that sometimes you look out the window when you're speaking to the jury? And he said, he said, no. I said, well, when you do that, everyone looks out the window with you. He said, they do? I didn't know. I said, well, of course you don't know. You're not looking at them. You want to look where? Where should my eyes look? At your eyes. 100% of the time. Never do I want to look up, down, left, or right. It's always to your eyes. 100% eye contact. One-on-one, it's down to 70, but one on 100, 100%. Not 100% with one person. That would be awkward and weird. But one on 100, it's to everybody. Next one. Covering or touching one's face. Next one, T-Rex position. Loosening one's collar. If you're demoing with a computer, overusing the mouse, moving it all around like this to make points, just leave the mouse still and use your words to talk about it. Next one, blinking excessively, overusing one's hands. This sort of thing, constantly moving them around. Don't forget, write down which ones you do. Laughing inappropriately, smirking, widening one's eyes for no reason, raising one's eyebrows, and letting one's mouth hang open. Some of you are saying to yourselves right now, I wonder which ones I do. Oh, that's telling. If you don't know, you probably don't know this, but you're looking nervous and you don't know it. And here's the kicker. Your audience knows it. They feel uncomfortable. They give you awkward looks. And then you start to freak out next time and get more nervous next time, and it just cycles. But you can stop the cycle by figuring out what makes you look nervous, stopping it, and guess what's going to happen when you stop this? Your audience is going to start to respond to you with their eyes, which is where the only universal form of facial communication lives, and they're going to start liking what you say. And you're going to start to feel less nervous because you're going to have results. Make a note, you cannot remove a negative behavior. You can only replace it with a different one. If you're trying to stop smoking, some of you who have done this know, you can't actually stop smoking until you replace the smoking habit with a different habit. This is why they have the gum and other things. If you have a negative behavior that you're doing, if you want to get rid of the negative behavior, you have to replace it with a different positive behavior. So it would be nice if I gave you some of those right now. You want a few of those positive behaviors? Here they are, page 56. Behavior number 1, stand still. Put your hands at your sides. Put your feet on the floor and imagine they're suction cupped to the floor. And use your head on a swivel to look at your audience. That's number 1. Number 2, keep your hands at default and then use them for targeted movements when you want to make a point. Now remember, this is only for the first how many seconds? 30 to 5 minutes. That's when you're going to look nervous. Here's your homework for this section. I want you to promise me that in the next month, you will have someone record the first 30 seconds to 5 minutes of your next presentation that's important to you and give them this list and tell them to identify the 3 things you're doing. And then you watch the tape and see if you're doing it. If you just remove those 3 things, you will probably look about 60 to 80% less nervous. And you're going to get reactions that you've never had before. It'll be really amazing for you.